And now, it's Kia Vancouver Soccer Talk on AM 650. Now broadcasting from the Barber & Co. studios. Here's your host, Tyler Grain.
Welcome to Kia Vancouver Soccer Talk. Second half kickoff brought to you by Global Scarves, producing soccer scarves for over 40 years. Get scarves for your local club, organization, or school at globalscarves.com. The show has scarves. Now you can too. Globalscarves.com. Good evening. My name is Tyler Green. We'll talk about the kits the Canadian women's national team debuted on Wednesday with Paul Dolan at about 11:30 this evening and give you a chance to win one as well. Plus expert physios David Sandals in just a minute here, live from Brazil. But the talk of World Cup with him. The World Cup sees the Italians, they need a little help in their final match to advance.
This is the full 90 on Kia Vancouver Soccer Talk, with all the info you need for the countries playing in Brazil.
This Italy profile is presented by BC Soccer. The Italians got off to a flying start after Mario Balotelli scored in the 50th minute against England to claim 3 points in a 2-1 victory. Riding high after the win against the Three Lions, the Azzurri knew a win could almost certainly seal a spot in the round of 16, but instead, Italy were beaten by CONCACAF side Costa Rica on Friday by a 1-0 final score. The result saw Costa Rica advance to the round of 16, while it also eliminated England from the competition. The result also sets up a final group match between Italy and Uruguay in a winner-take-all battle. For Italy, a win or draw against the Uruguayans will see them move on in the competition, while a loss for the Azzurri would eliminate them from the second straight World Cup tournament. That final group match takes place on Tuesday, June 24th. This Italy profile was presented by BC Soccer. Visit bcsoccer.net to learn what's happening around the beautiful game in the province. To learn how to become more involved in soccer, visit bcsoccer.net.
It's time now for the injury report, brought to you by Expert Physio in Burnaby, online at expertphysio.ca. And joining us on the program, live from Brazil, is Expert Physio's David Sandals. David, first of all, you sent some pictures. It looks like you're having an amazing time. Just talk about some of these memorable moments that you've been having so far, whether it's a ride to and from the stadium or the Copacabana beach. Tell us a little bit some of those magical moments you've had.
Yeah, yes, Tyler. It's been quite amazing. Not only the atmosphere in the Maracana Stadium itself, 2 games we've seen with South American fans, the Argentinian game, where it must be 60+% of the crowd is Argentinian. We just had the place rocking. But not only was the stadium rocking, but the train, the metro that we took out to the stadium, which is absolutely packed with Argentinian fans, that was rocking too. It was rocking so much I was kind of wondering if it was going to come off the track. It was quite something. And then we got a bus back from the stadium, and that too was full of Argentinian fans, but the bus driver was actually crazier than the fans, and it wasn't long before they were rather quietened down by this bus driver, because I don't know what he was on, but we were all kind of glad to get back to Copacabana safely without the bus rolling over. He was going so fast. Anyway, so I can't figure out whether the Argentinian fans are the craziest here or the bus drivers.
Now, David, obviously there's some injury concerns here, Portugal being one of them. Something tells me Cristiano Ronaldo, for me, is going to play in this game against the United States on Sunday, but it is one of those teams that is just injured right now in leading up to the tournament and now in the tournament. They just seem like they've got just a whack full of injuries.
Yeah, they look like they're in trouble. I mean, they seem to be the most injured team for sure. They look like Contrao out with his groin injury, Almeida, Rui Patricia, both with thigh injuries. Neither likely to play tomorrow, from what I hear. Morelos and Pepe also have some fitness issues, although Pepe gets a rest, as we know, after his interesting sort of headbutt maneuver the other day. Ronaldo, though, I mean, he played 90 minutes. One would have thought that, if your best player really has a problem, that when you're 4-0 down, you might be taking him off to protect him. But he played the full 90, so I'm pretty sure that he seems to be sort of one of the fitter players, although all the attention seems to be on him, although he seems to have less problems with some of the rest of the Portuguese player. I mean, Bruno Alves too also apparently missed some training this week as well. So I think they're in trouble. The cotton wool apparently didn't work. I think they needed 6 months rest, not 2 weeks. So.
Now, it's one of the topics, David, that's being debated heavily right now, and that is concussions with FIFA and whether or not, one, if players should be able to kind of come off and sub a player on, which I'm against it, but how long does it take to sort of figure out whether a player has a concussion? And, is that something that that FIFA really needs to take a look at a little bit more, and maybe giving the physio and the doctor the complete control as to whether that player goes back on?
Well, certainly, according to the research, the current science on concussions, we've discussed this at length on the show before, and it certainly would seem that if someone does return to play, they are definitely a danger to themselves. Never mind a danger to the opposition. I mean, Pereira, who's the incident that caused all the issue here. He was obviously out cold for a short period of time, and without any kind of evaluation, was allowed back onto the field. Shortly thereafter, he clatters, right into the back of Glenn Johnson when the ball's clearly going out. He's also a danger to other players on the field. The union is asking for this as a protection to the players on the field, and I think, with the current science, it's definitely the way that things will probably go.
Now, the other topic is, and it was sort of questionable as to whether FIFA was going to institute that 30-minute mandatory water break or not. You're there right now. How is the heat, and how difficult is it for these players to sort of compete in that type of atmosphere?
Yeah, we're in the south here. The weather's wonderful, and certainly no excuses for England. I think they were playing in something like 60 degrees. So a very pleasant sort of evening down in Sao Paulo when they played. However, up in the north, in the Fortaleza, Manaus, the issues, and you can certainly see that the game is quite different. I mean, the England-Italy game was played at quite a slow pace with short sort of spurts of activity and then slow down as the players are trying to save themselves. And I think, clearly the England team were forced to work harder to try and come back, I think, 2 occasions. And as a result, they definitely faded at the end, and you can see there were a number of players who were really struggling. The other games that have been there, you've seen some similar things. So the Players' Union, again, is saying that this should be addressed. Now, FIFA have said, well, we do address it. There is this WBAT, it's a sort of a thing that takes into account the temperature, humidity, wind chill, amount of sunlight. It was actually started in 1956 by the U.S. military to reduce stress on recruits and training. But I think that might be a little bit different from a competitive soccer match. And it's a somewhat complicated formula, but they come up with this, again, WBGT, the wet bulb globe temperature. It's a long time ago it was started, and I think the Players' Union are quite concerned that the guidelines that we're using are really not good enough. And certainly in other tournaments we have seen referees calling water breaks.
David, just a couple more minutes with you here, and we'll let you get back to sleep. But so far, what was your favorite game so far in this tournament?
Oh, absolutely the game yesterday between Germany and Ghana. It was, we got in the fan zone again. That's something else that I should address. It's just the fan zone is absolutely fantastic. The fans that either don't have tickets to the game or were watching a game from another city all gather in this arena, I would say, I call it, and cheer, shout, drink beer, and generally have a great time. and on this massive screen. I've never seen a screen with that's been so sharp, and it's just fantastic. It's almost better than being there sometimes, because you're getting all the close-ups, you're getting all the replays, everything else. And the game in the fan zone, it was a barnstormer, absolutely no question about it. It was the most enjoyable game I've seen. Probably the least enjoyable was England-Uruguay for me. Suarez's knee again raises its ugly head, but a couple of times during the first half, we were watching him quite carefully. It looked like he was limping around a little bit, and I think he was playing possum. He was playing with the English guys' heads because they didn't take him seriously, and the English team got punished for it. I will say, though, physiotherapists need hugs too, and the guy that Suarez ran over and hugged after his second goal, and when he came off, he was seen clinging to this guy, Walter Farita, who's the Uruguay physiotherapist. And I must say, if Suarez is going to give me a hug, I think I might cover my ears.
Well, David, appreciate you joining us here again on the program late at night over in Brazil. What do you got coming up this week for games that you're going to see, whether it's in a stadium or at the fan zone?
Oh, gosh, there's so many. I know, it's hard to keep up. Tomorrow we've got tickets to the stadium again. I'm going to see the Belgian-Russia game, which is looks like it's going to be a really good one. Again, it's both teams really want to win. The Belgians want to win that group. The Russians need to get back into things. They just got a point. So I'm really looking forward to that one. And then, we're not too far away from the last games in the divisions, which are going to definitely change things quite a bit. Teams that sitting in third, fourth place sometimes have opportunities to advance. So I think we're going to see some great games. I will say though, with the England demise, 2 games out, I think 8 days out, just shows you what happens when you lose your physiotherapist.
True enough, David. Well, we hope we don't lose you in Brazil, and we hope that we catch up with you again next Saturday. Enjoy the next week, and we'll talk to you again next week.
That's great, Tyler. Have a good time enjoying Vancouver, and I'm sure Commercial Drive is rocking at times too.
It is definitely rocking. Thanks. That's David Sandals joining us from Brazil, and we hope to catch up with David again next week. Hopefully we don't lose him in Brazil, Simon.
I surely hope not.
We might stick around. It seems like he's having so much fun. He might not want to come back hanging out at the Copacabana beach. And we also thank David for joining us, physiotherapist at Expert Physio. If you care about your health, why not work with the experts? Convenient clinics at 8 Rinks and in Burnaby Heights. For more information on the services they provide, visit expertphysio.ca. Expert Physio can get you back to full health. Visit them today at expertphysio.ca. And if you're watching on the webcast, we showed some of the pictures that David sent back from Brazil, and it looks like he's having a great time with the family. So it's I hope he's having a fantastic time, and we can't wait to chat with David again next week about some of the injury concerns that some of these players have at the World Cup, and maybe teams have. Luis Suarez had a great week, but maybe that knee injury kind of nags up a little bit. Maybe it rears its ugly head again, and maybe he's out in not necessarily the final game, but maybe one of the round of 16 games. That could be a problem. Tonight's Barber Pull brought to you by Barber & Co. Get the authentic straight razor shave or a haircut, whatever you need. Hit up barberandco.ca. What has been the most unexpected World Cup result this week? Tweet us at SoccerTalk650 and at Tyler Green FC. Only at Kia Vancouver, free lifetime car washes, oil changes, and get this, free lifetime airport shuttle and parking, Southwest Marine Drive at Yukon. The Manager's Rant is next.
Follow us on Twitter at SoccerTalk650 and at Tyler Green FC. This is Kia Vancouver Soccer Talk on AM 650.
Vancouver Street Soccer League is the beautiful game at its finest. Teams of men and women who are homeless, have recently been homeless, or are at risk for homelessness get together to train and play matches. It's great fun that builds skill and confidence. And the league sent players to 4 consecutive Homeless World Cups in Milan, Rio de Janeiro, Paris, Mexico City, and Poland. Find out more at VancouverStreetSoccer.com.
This message fueled by Duso's fresh pasta and sauce. Proud to support community on and off the pitch.
What's it like to score in the beautiful game? Come to Kia Vancouver and find out. Score the best price during Kia's 2014 FIFA World Cup sales event. Plus, get 0% financing for 84 months and up to $4,000 in cash bonuses on select models. And only at Kia Vancouver, score free lifetime car washes, free lifetime oil changes, free lifetime airport shuttle and parking, and always service with a smile. Kia Vancouver, the power to surprise. At KiaVancouver.com and on Southwest Marine Drive at Yukon.
Pain or injury slowing you down? Take it to the choice of many top athletes, Expert Physio. Serving the Lower Mainland for over 35 years, the team at Expert Physio is dedicated to individualized care with specialized services such as orthotics, acupuncture, IMS, plus dizziness, pelvic floor, and certified hand therapies. Over 300 physicians referred to Expert Physio last year, and 100% of patients surveyed said they'd choose Expert Physio again. You're in good hands with Expert Physio. Burnaby Heights or at 8 Rinks, expertphysio.ca.
The 2014 season of EA Sports BC Soccer Premier League. Welcome to the front lines of the game. Welcome to the big league. The one that provides an elevated level of competition for high-performance players within BC and contributes to player development for the Canadian national team and professional opportunities here and abroad. This is where you're going to see the top youth players in action. Catch some of the most intense soccer in the province. EA Sports BC Soccer Premier League. For information and upcoming games, check out bcsoccer.net.
The Home Depot Canada Foundation has made a commitment to ending youth homelessness in Canada. That's what the Orange Door Project is all about. Donate $2 to help bring housing and hope to homeless youth. All proceeds go to local charities that provide them with access to safe, stable housing and support. Donate today at the Home Depot or online at homedepot.ca. Help give our youth a place to call home.
We're back. This is Kia Vancouver's Soccer Talk on AM 650. Now broadcasting from the Barber & Co. studios. Here's your host, Tyler Gray.
Closed Loop Mobile Oil Change is proud to support Kia Vancouver Soccer Talk, and we are very proud to welcome them to the program. If you're looking for a spring and summer tune-up and don't want to get off your couch, there's an easy way to do it. Just contact closedloopoil.ca. They come directly to your home to maintain your vehicle with warranty-approved parts and fluids. closedloopoil.ca. Good evening. Tyler Green in with you wearing my French jersey today as I'm trying to wear a bunch of different World Cup soccer kits throughout the tournament. Our producer, Greg Ballack, hooking me up with a bunch of different looks in this tournament, and I thank Greg for his help with that. And, of course, the French, they play Ecuador in their final group game later this week as we now profile France here on Kia Vancouver Soccer Talk.
This is the full 90 on Kia Vancouver Soccer Talk, with all the info you need for the countries playing in Brazil.
This France profile is presented by Barber & Co. France crashed out of the 2010 World Cup in South Africa and qualified for Brazil after beating Ukraine in a 2-match playoff. In Brazil, they've surprised many with solid offensive performances, opening the tournament with a 3-0 win over Honduras and beating Switzerland 5-1. The French scored 5 goals in a World Cup match for the first time since 1958, when it lit up West Germany 6-3 in the third-place game. Les Bleus' offensive attack has been scoring by committee, with 5 different players scoring goals, and led by Karim Benzema, who has 2 goals in the tournament so far. Already on 6 points through 2 matches, France will finish the group stage against Ecuador on Wednesday, needing only a single point to advance to the round of 16 in Group E. That France profile was presented by Barber & Co. Whether it's a buzz cut, fade, or hot shave, Barber & Co. has the right cut for you. Book an appointment or walk in at one of their 4 locations in Gastown, Yaletown, the Financial District, or at Cambie and 18th at barberandco.ca.
England is out of the World Cup. And I had an interesting listen to Stuart Pearce about his thoughts on the England team getting knocked out. And one of the things that he had to say was the fact that only 2 members of the team that lost to Germany in the European final a few years ago have made the transition to this England men's national team. And those 2 players didn't even play in that final game. Joe Hart was suspended. The other one just didn't play at all. And there's just a lot of players that haven't yet made that transition. Whereas you look at the German side that won the European Championship, and, well, there's a whole bunch of players. I believe there's 5 or 6 players that are now on the full-fledged German national team side. And it made me think, well, where are these guys that used to play for the Canadian men's national team from, say, some of these U20 tournaments, especially the one that was held here in Canada? They're just few and far between, and some of those players, looking into it even deeper, that won the Young Player of the Year award aren't even playing soccer anymore. So if they're talking about how bad England has it, I'm just thinking, how bad does Canada have it? And it's a troubling sign. Yes, things are progressing in the right direction, and, well, we can look at things starting to get in a positive direction, and there is some moves happening, but, when you look back at the history of some of the Canadian soccer, especially after making it into the 1986 World Cup, it is just a bleak existence for Canadian soccer. Hopefully, though, it is on the rise.
Looking at 2 countries here, England and Canada, that are on 2 different parallels facing the same problems. And I find it mind-boggling, really, to me, that where England has the issue of not being able to produce themselves into a consistent contender at the top level, and based on their history of actually inventing the game and giving the game to the world. Canada's problem is just trying to be part of the party, but both have very similar issues in its player development. They just have not taken responsibility for their own players. There are very differing reasons for it, but almost very similar as well. It is disturbing to think that there were players that were playing in Canada's youth national teams a few years ago, and they're not part of the senior setup right now. It's decades of decay. And where do you point the finger? To me, it's with executive leadership at the top, and there are people there that need to be held accountable. For me, the biggest issue that Canadian soccer faces right now is the leadership that is through the likes of a Victor Montagliani, Peter Montopoli. In those roles, fans have to ask these questions as well as the media. For what is needed in those positions, are the right individuals in those current positions right now? And that's what people need to assess.
Yeah, well, at the same time, what can the president of the CSA do about a guy going to Europe and never getting to play an actual game? I think some of these things also fall on some of the players trying to further their own careers sometimes instead of playing in a situation that works. And we see it all the time with guys that get a lot of action, and we're probably going to see it again with guys like Adam Lallana with England, a few other players, that they're going to go to bigger clubs. They're not necessarily going to now play anymore. And they're not going to get a lot of action, and they disappear. Also, a lot of players' decisions, especially with this England side, they decide, well, you know what, I already made one appearance with the national team, with the big team. Why am I going to go play in this under-21 tournament? Why am I going to go play with this youth tournament? Why am I going to go play? Stuart Pearce was talking about the fact that he had 25 players, he said, that just completely declined to play for that Olympic team at the Olympics a couple of years ago because, well, they've already played for the national team. So why do I want to bother with that tournament? And you look at, he was talking about some of the players now. Why are you even bringing players to the World Cup just for the experience when they can be playing in a tournament right now for the under-20s, for the under-23s, for those type of young players to get actual playing experience is what it needs to be. And that's, I think, it falls back on with the Canadian national side again. You look at it and it's where are these guys going to play between the ages of 18 and 23, really? Where do they have an option to play? Colin Miller has a team that he's got in Edmonton. Well, the Whitecaps have a lot of young players, but if they're just the similar attributes to players that Colin already has, well, why does Colin need to take these players on? So none of these players don't get to play. And I look at the Whitecaps opting out of the reserve league. Some of these players don't get to play games against different things. So I think there's a lot of issues. And yes, I think there's some things to be said about the top tier of leadership, but I think it also comes down to some of these players needing to play, wanting to play, and should be playing, but they don't get an opportunity, and where they're going to do that. Sometimes it's just bad choices by some of these players as well. If you're looking to watch the World Cup somewhere, check out The Pint. The Pint is Vancouver's largest sports bar, boasting great daily food and drink specials. Not only is it the place you can go to watch your Caps, but it's the headquarters for some of the World Cup action, offering 1575 pitchers of Bud and Bud Light. The Pint is Germany House. But of course, no matter which country you're supporting, you won't miss any of the action with over 75 TVs throughout the Pint. To make a booking, email vancouver@thepint.ca. I actually went and watched the U.S.-Ghana game, and it was pretty much everybody supporting Ghana except for the one guy in the Captain America shirt. He was cheering for the U.S., so he was the one that was happy at the end of it. Everyone else just enjoyed some of those pictures of Bud and Bud Light.
Must have felt like a superhero after that, right?
He probably did. And he was pumped up. By the way, great tweet from Sub Hedgehog. I heard Clint Dempsey rapping, and I am now unclean. We apologize to you, Paul, for unfortunately letting you have to listen to that ear candy. All right, we're going to talk some more World Cup. Paul Dolan coming up next on the program. We're going to talk about his biggest surprise at the tournament so far, who he thinks is the goalkeeper of the tournament. We'll also talk about the Canadian women's national team playing on Wednesday against Germany, his thoughts on that, as well the new Canada kit. And we've got one, and we are going to give it to you in just a few minutes. But first, let's find out what's happening around BC in what we call the BC Soccer Bulletin.
Here's what's happening throughout the province with the BC Soccer Bulletin. The Youth Provincial Championships are coming up in a little over a month, starting with the Provincial Premier Cup June 28th to 29th, hosted by Fraser Valley FC and McLeod Athletic Park. Between July 3rd to 6th, the Burnaby Youth Soccer Association will host the Youth Provincial A Cup at Burnaby Lake Sports Complex and Burnaby Central Secondary School. The Youth Girls Provincial B Cup will be hosted by Chilliwack FC at Townsend Park and Exhibition Grandstand Field. And the Les Sinnott Memorial Boys Provincial Cup will be hosted by the Richmond Soccer Association at Hugh Boyd Park and Minaroo Oval. For more information on the Youth Provincial Championships, visit bcsoccer.net. BC Soccer is hosting referee clinics throughout the province in June. To learn more on how to become a referee in BC and to sign up for the clinics, visit refcenter.com/BC. That was the BC Soccer Bulletin. To find out more information about these events and on how to become more involved with the beautiful game, visit bcsoccer.net.
This is Kia Vancouver Soccer Talk on AM 650. Follow us on Twitter at Soccer Talk 650 and at Tyler Green FC.
Whether playing soccer on this continent or football on every other, Umbro is the name worn by top players and teams worldwide. Those same uniforms are available for your team or club at umbro.com. Umbro, proud to be the official supplier of Canada's men's and women's national teams, is celebrating 90 years of expertise in the game. If you want your club to play like the pros, dress them like the pros at umbro.com. Umbro, the heart and soul of football.
The Donnelly Group has soccer fever, so they're throwing open the doors to 9 of their famous public houses at 9 a.m. for all 64 matches in Brazil. Come watch the game live. Brunch is served at every venue, and there are 540 Carlsbergs, so wake up with soccer, Samba style, and make sure you're at one of these Donnelly Group establishments. The Blackbird, the Butcher and Bullock, Tavern, the New Oxford, Library Square, Cinema, the Bimini, Lamplighter, or 3 Brits. Get details at donnellygroup.ca.
Held high
above the heads of soccer supporters everywhere. The soccer scarf is a world-class tradition, and Global Scarves can get you into the game. From English soccer clubs to Canadian hockey teams, Global Scarves has been producing high-quality UK-knitted soccer scarves for over 40 years. Because you're dealing directly, you get the lowest price, and your order shipped in as little as 15 days. Global Scarves are a high-margin, high-spirited fundraising idea. Contact Brad at globalscarves.com or visit globalscarves.com.
What's it like to score in the beautiful game? Come to Kia Vancouver and find out. Score the best price during Kia's 2014 FIFA World Cup sales event. Plus, get 0% financing for 84 months and up to $4,000 in cash bonuses on select models. And only at Kia Vancouver, score free lifetime car washes, free lifetime oil changes, free lifetime airport shuttle and parking, and always service with a smile. Kia Vancouver, the power to surprise at KiaVancouver.com and on Southwest Marine Drive at Yukon.
True product experts work at Audio Video Unlimited, and they'll come to you. Schedule an in-home consultation to design the audio-video system of your dreams. Audio Video Unlimited's one-on-one service is second to none and will not cost you any more than the big box stores, guaranteed. After all, their 30-year reputation was built on it. Ask about the 4K ultra-high-definition TVs by LG, Samsung, and Sony, a new standard in TV resolution. Audio Video Unlimited. Same price, expert advice. 1200 Lougheed Highway, just 2 blocks east of IKEA, or online at avu.ca.
3 days of heaven. It's H2O Spa's 3-day only summer hot tub sale.
Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
Wall-to-wall savings on all traditional spas.
Get H2O's factory direct warehouse prices on spas made here in BC.
Get your perfect spa on sale.
At these prices, these quality summer-ready spas will move fast. Guaranteed.
So go, go, go to H2O.
H2O Spa's 3-day summer hot tub sale. Now through Monday only. 7333 River Road in Delta and H2OSpas.ca.
This is Kia Vancouver's Soccer Talk on AM 650. Now broadcasting from the Barber & Co. studios. Here's your host, Tyler Green.
Well, my friend Alex was quite upset earlier today. Because Bosnia and Herzegovina lost to Nigeria. And now we profile them in the full 90 for the last time.
This is the full 90 on Kia Vancouver Soccer Talk, with all the info you need for the countries playing in Brazil.
This Bosnia and Herzegovina profile is presented by Korecki Real Estate Services. Qualifying for the 2014 World Cup by finishing top of European Zone Group G on goal difference from fellow World Cup qualifiers Greece, Bosnia and Herzegovina kicked off the tournament against Argentina. Unfortunately for Bosnia, an own goal in the 3rd minute kicked off their tournament before Lionel Messi made it 2-0 for Argentina. In the end, Bosnia and Herzegovina dropped their first match of the group stage 2-1 to Argentina before facing Nigeria in their second match. A goal from Nigeria in the 29th minute once again sealed Bosnia and Herzegovina's fate, as the Nigerians never gave up the lead, eventually winning 1-0. Nigeria finished their first 2 matches with 4 points, while Argentina won both their matches, meaning Bosnia and Herzegovina, on 0 points with 1 match remaining, have been eliminated from the competition. Bosnia and Herzegovina will wrap up their tournament in their final match with Iran, who are still looking to advance. That was the Bosnia and Herzegovina profile presented by Korecki Real Estate Services. Service without compromise. Specializing in providing rental and strata property management services throughout the Lower Mainland. Personal, prompt, and professional service. Korecki Real Estate Services. Online at korecki.ca. That's KORECKI.ca.
Don't forget, right now, score the best price during Kia's 2014 FIFA World Cup sales event. Plus, get 0% financing for 84 months and up to $4,000 in cash bonuses on select models. Head into Kia Vancouver today. KiaVancouver.com. 396 Southwest Marine Drive. We're going to talk some more World Cup right now with Paul Dolan, who is, of course, with Sportsnet. He's an analyst there and also Umbro representative. And we are going to, by the way, give away one of those fantastic new Canadian women's national team jerseys. Well, national team jerseys for Canada, which Umbro made. We're going to do that in just a few minutes. But first, chatting with Paul Dolan here on Kia Vancouver Soccer Talk. And Pia, Paul, World Cup fever is on. For you, which teams kind of looked, I guess, the most surprising in terms of in terms of which team has surprised you the most?
Well, it's probably everyone's biggest surprise, and that's Costa Rica. But as much as it's difficult for me to be cheering on opponents who give us such a tough time in Canada when we go down there, and Canada isn't there and could be jealous about it, I'm cheering on Costa Rica and the rest of the CONCACAF nations. And Costa Rica winning 3-1 against Uruguay in the first game, the defending semifinalists, in Uruguay there, close to home, a team I think a lot of people thought would be right up there. That's a surprise, especially what they did the second go-around, where they beat Italy and beat them for good value. I thought they were the better team on the day. They tried to attack. They just didn't sit back and look to counter. They looked to unlock the Italian defense, which is always a hard task, but they had lots of pace, lots of skill on the ball, and more than anything else, that determination that we always find so difficult when we play against these types of teams. So for me, the biggest surprise, and somewhat pleasantly when you're representing CONCACAF.
Now, still with CONCACAF is a Mexican goalkeeper who really stood on his head and really was the man of the match for Mexico against Brazil, and probably kept that scoreline the way it was. But Ochoa, and I know I've probably screwed that name up, but he just had a tremendous performance. Is he sort of the goalkeeper of the tournament so far? Is somebody else? I know it's not Casillas, that's for sure.
Well, I heard the announcer calling him Ochoa, and that's what I've always kind of gone with. And we've, again, run up to him a number of times in the Mexican goal. He was on the cover of the FIFA PlayStation games, if I'm not mistaken, a number of years ago. They thought he would be the goalkeeper in 2010, and he was pipped out by the veteran keeper, Oscar there, and Perez, I think it is. And then in this tournament, Ochoa has really shone. He had an incredible game against Brazil. But, it is only, for some goalkeepers, one game into the World Cup still. There's still 6 goalies, I guess it is, tomorrow that are still to play. And then, what have we got? I think that's the end of the first round of games. But anyway, or the first 2 games anyway. So it's still a long way to go. But so far, so good. 2 clean sheets and 2 very impressive performances, particularly the one against Brazil, obviously. Many people's pre-tournament favorites in the home team, and they really tested him. He certainly has the save of the tournament, the one that he pulled off the goal line there.
We're talking with Paul Dolan here on Kia Vancouver Soccer Talk. Paul, of course, a Sportsnet analyst for soccer and also an Umbro rep. And speaking of Umbro, a player that stood on her head wearing a new Canada shirt is Erin McLeod in that second half of the Canadian women's national team game against Germany on Wednesday, Paul, and she was outstanding in that game, wasn't she?
She was fantastic. Craig McCune and I called the game for Sportsnet, and she didn't start the game. It was Karina LeBlanc, who also had a pretty good first half. The Canadian team was turning the ball over a few too many times, probably for the goalkeeper's liking and John Herdman's liking, but that meant that the keepers got a lot of action. Erin McLeod actually said after her second half performance, when she went in after 45 minutes, that John Herdman probably doesn't want to hear this, but I love those kinds of games because I'm getting lots of action and it helps me in preparation playing against these best teams and best players in the world. But I remember saying about 12 minutes into the second half that Erin McLeod is already our player of the game. She made 3 or 4 point-blank saves at that time and went on to make 3 or 4 more. I think she had 7 or 8 saves in total in that second half, and a number of them were clear-cut breakaways. So that's something that, obviously from a coach's perspective, they need to tidy up the giveaways and close down defensively. But they'll be very pleased that they have 2 excellent, solid number 1 goalkeepers that they're going to have to choose from in the tournament next year.
Now, Canada debuting those new Canadian national team kits, which I think are absolutely fantastic. I love the fact that you've got sort of that 2-tone red striping on them. How did these jerseys come around and come about? Because they look absolutely incredible.
Yeah, the initial response has been fantastic. And it's funny, we've tried a couple of different ways since we picked up the Canadian contract to launch the new kits. We had the Voyageurs launch it one time with some pub parties back east. We've had, the girls launch them before too, and the men as well in their World Cup qualifying campaign and some different types of advertising that we've done to coincide with the launch. But this time we went with a little kind of a silent, quiet launch just on Twitter and crept it out a little bit, and the immediate response based on what they saw and after the first game and the sales at the stadium has been really somewhat surprising, because in the kind of clutter of the World Cup, when everyone's focused on the Men's World Cup there, to have a friendly game that drew so much attention to the jersey has been very, very good from a sales perspective. And I think also people like the design and the style of the shirt itself. And you mentioned there kind of that hoop design. We get all the designs from Umbro International, and I think I mentioned to you that they're doing a very good job of signing clubs, quite a few clubs ahead of the next Premier League season and championship season, and elsewhere around the world as well. We just signed Derby County actually on Friday, so they'll probably fight for promotion into the Premier League this year. We picked up Everton and Hull as well. So the international marketing group is doing an excellent job, not just with the design of the new licensed jerseys, but also with picking up some big properties that we can launch some of these shirts on.
And we're going to give away one of those jerseys in just a minute here, but if people don't necessarily win that, Paul, where's the best place for people to go to try to pick one of those up?
Well, all of the local retailers in Vancouver are carrying the shirts. The retailer who is at BC Place Stadium is Soccer City, and they also have an online presence called joegoesbro.com, and that's an online presence where you can also buy the shirt. But all the local soccer stores where Umbro is sold will have the jerseys. Remember, the U20 Women's FIFA World Cup is just around the corner in August, and I think that'll catch people by surprise. Of course, all the focus, as I say, is on the Men's World Cup and then the Whitecaps after that. But if you remember 10 years ago, I guess it was 12 years ago now, in August of 2002, when the U20 women, including Christine Sinclair and Erin McLeod and a bunch of others, kind of shocked the world to get to the final of that tournament, lost to the States in a very close game, but over 50,000 people were watching at Commonwealth and almost 1 million people on Sportsnet. It was the highest ever rated program of any sport up until that time, and I think it lasted quite a long time, that record. So I think that'll happen again. I think there'll be a lot of interest around that team ahead of next year's World Cup, when so many of the senior team players will actually be representing Canada at the U20 stage as well.
Paul Dolan joining us here on Kia Vancouver Soccer Talk, Sportsnet analyst, Umbro rep, and still with Umbro. Switching gears slightly back to the World Cup, is Joe Hart, goalkeeper for the England squad, was wearing some brand new cleats for this tournament, the UX1s, and I saw some pictures of them. You sent me some material as well. These things look great and very exciting. You gave me a pair of the Speciales, but I want to get my hands on a pair of these now. These look absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, and these are going to be a bit more tougher to get, just in that they're kind of a pre-pack exclusive that came out as a teaser for this fall. We're going to carry the same style in 4 brand new colorways for next spring, so look for that too. But yeah, Joe Hart's wearing that one. It's called the UX1 Concept Boot in kind of that blackberry color with the lime green Umbro diamond, but it's got an Armortex type fabrication, which has out dry. It keeps your foot nice and dry and nice and lightweight, and obviously it's got some characteristics that provide a bit better response and touch on the ball, and kind of our stealth pattern outsole. But it's been, again, another product that I think Umbro has hit out of the ballpark in terms of creating some interest, even though we only have just a few players wearing it at the World Cup. But that and the new Geo Flare boot that's being worn by one of the players on Chile with a camouflage pattern have really attracted a lot of attention. So, again, lots of good things from Umbro International, but unfortunately for Joe Hart in England, they won't be carrying any forward. So, that was some game too, wasn't it? I don't think necessarily England played all that poorly in their first 2 games. Mm-hmm. They were in a tough group. But you've got to give credit to, if not the entire Uruguayan team, certainly Luis Suarez. He was just fantastic in that performance.
Well, Paul, appreciate you taking some time out here on a Saturday evening to talk to us. We're going to give away that jersey in just a second, that Canada shirt from Umbro. But thanks again for joining us. We'll talk again real soon.
Happy to do it anytime, Tyler.
Thanks, Paul. That was Paul Dolan, again, Umbro representative, Sportsnet soccer analyst, talking about the new Canadian jersey and Umbro at the World Cup right now. That was our Kia Vancouver showroom interview. Only at Kia Vancouver, free lifetime car washes, oil changes, and get this free lifetime airport shuttle and parking service, Southwest Marine Drive at Yukon. And it was a 2-1 final between Canada and Germany on Wednesday night. The women's teams going at it. So 3 goals in that game. So let's take caller number 3. If you want yourself one of those brand new Umbro Canadian jerseys, the number to call is 604-280-0650. 604-280-0650, the number to call. Caller number 3 walking away with that shirt. If you're looking for a place to view this year's World Cup, the Pint and the Donnelly Group locations, including the Blackbird, the Butcher and Bullock, Tavern at New Oxford, Library Square, Cinema, a place that we like to call the Bimini, Lamplighter, or the Three Brits is where you should watch. The Pint has 1575 pitchers of Bud. The Donnelly pubs will be serving up cold Carlsbergs for $5.40. And a fun time had at either one of those. Like I said, we've been going to the Donnelly Group to a few games there. Had a great time. Had a few different contests. Had a chance to win some jerseys as well there. And then the Pint, great experience. Having fun with a lot of different people cheering for different teams, but all coming together at the Pint. 2 great places. Check them out. It is where to watch the World Cup here on Kia Vancouver Soccer Talk. Quick time out here on the program, but we'll be back in just a minute with some hot fudge.
Follow us on Twitter at Soccer Talk 650 and at Tyler Green FC. This is Kia Vancouver Soccer Talk on AM 650.
Not that your stylist at the salon isn't doing a good job, but man, you deserve the big red leather barber chair experience of Barber & Co. Here's how it works. Go to barberandco.ca. Book your appointment at one of the 4 barbershops in Gastown, Yaletown, the Financial District, or Cambie and 18th. You can just walk in, too, and get your hair cut, hot shave, buzz cut, fade, or beard trim experience. A great wedding party idea, too. barberandco.ca.
Whether playing soccer on this continent or football on every other, Umbro is the name worn by top players and teams worldwide. Those same uniforms are available for your team or club at Umbro.com. Umbro, proud to be the official supplier of Canada's men's and women's national teams, is celebrating 90 years of expertise in the game. If you want your club to play like the pros, dress them like the pros at Umbro.com. Umbro, the heart and soul of football.
It was true Italy. Every weekend, the Dussault family gathered to share laughter and plates of homemade pasta. So when the Dussault brothers came to Canada, rather than become homesick for the good times, they opened Dussault's on Granville Island. A generation later, the Dussauts are still creating authentic, home-style Italian pasta and sauce from natural ingredients. Great carbs and quick, healthy meals. Official pasta of the Vancouver Canucks and Vancouver Whitecaps FC. Look for Dussault's fresh pasta and sauce at your local grocery store. Visit Dussault's, DUSOS.com.
What's it like to score in the beautiful game? Come to Kia Vancouver and find out. Score the best price during Kia's 2014 FIFA World Cup sales event. Plus, get 0% financing for 84 months and up to $4,000 in cash bonuses on select models. And only at Kia Vancouver, score free lifetime car washes, free lifetime oil changes, free lifetime airport shuttle and parking, and always service with a smile. Kia Vancouver, the power to surprise at KiaVancouver.com and on Southwest Marine Drive at Yukon.
Wendy's presents the $4.99 Night Owl Combo.
Welcome to Wendy's. Can I take your order?
I'm so excited the $4.99 Night Owl Combo is back that I became the Night Owl.
I see that. Nice costume.
I stayed up all day making it.
Oh, the tights are a nice touch.
The Wendy's $4.99 Night Owl Combo with a Dave's Hot and Juicy Cheeseburger, small fries, and drink. Taxes extra. Available after 9 p.m. all summer long at participating Wendy's. Now that's better.
They're not tights. They're meggings.
Man leggings?
No, meggings.
We're back. This is Kia Vancouver's Soccer Talk on AM 650. Now broadcasting from the Barber & Co. studios. Here's your host, Tyler Green.
Yes, right now, score the best price during Kia's 2014 FIFA World Cup sales event, plus get 0% financing for 84 months and up to $4,000 in cash bonuses on select models. It is time. It is that time of week when we get to hear it You got it. It's hot fudge.
Oh, baby. Hot fudge with Simon Fudge.
Been a great weekend so far, weather, so I think it's worth heading out tomorrow in the sunshine and go to Greek Day at West Broadway in Kitsilano, or for the first Sunday of the Food Cart Fest, which is near the Cambie Street Bridge and Olympic Village by Falls Creek Waterfront. Yes, it's a lot about food and things, but I think it's worth getting outside in the sunshine and taking in one of those two events, if not both of them.
Well, I'm going to both because I'm a glutton for good eating.
I think myself I'm only going to be able to make one, but I'm definitely, I'm especially happy with the fact that Food Cart is going to be there every Sunday, so it's a short walk.
Well, I am definitely going to go to, I'm going to start with the Food Cart Fest because it starts at noon, and then go to Greek Days after that. You know what, the one thing that I'm kind of disappointed in, though, is just the fact that Greece, they don't play till Tuesday. It would have been so great if they played on. Really, FIFA should just turn their whole schedule upside down and pander to us here in Vancouver, and should have had Greece team play tomorrow on Sunday. That would have made it that much even greater at Greek
Yeah,
Days.
unfortunately, it might have required a very large brown envelope full of something or other, you know. So,
yeah. FIFA never gets large envelopes filled with
goodies,
green items of paper. All right, it is time for the final cut, brought to you by Barber & Co. on Twitter at Barber & Co. For full-service barbershops for your big haircut, hot shave, buzz cut, fade, and beard trim. Get the ultimate barbershop experience. It's 4 locations to serve you: Gastown, Yaletown, the Financial District, or the new location at Cambie and 18th. It is barberandco.ca. For the final cut today, our big winner announcement. Fred Scott from Coquitlam, congratulations. You're walking away with that lovely new Canada jersey by Umbro Canada. We thank Paul Dolan and Umbro Canada for that giveaway. Umbro.com. You can check them out online to get yours. But like Paul said, any local soccer store has the shirts available. So go out and get them. They are very, very fine-looking shirts. Also want to take a quick minute here to say thank you to Barber & Co. They were Another Fine Cut, anotherfinecut.com. They are now Barber & Co., barberandco.ca online, and they are our studio sponsor here, so we want to welcome them to the studio sponsor, and I think Christina is now going to push even more to get the barber chair in here and get me getting a haircut or a hot shave during one of the shows. I think she's going to push even more for that.
Multitasking at its finest, I would say.
Yeah, for sure. Simon, of course, gets his hair done at Barber & Co. I do as well. Martin cheering for France at the World Cup this year. So good things for him coming, possibly, because they're doing quite well so far. So we thank Barber & Co. for joining us here for the studio sponsorship. And Fred Scott at Coquitlam, big winner. Come on, take this off. We got some good music coming up here on AM 650 Radio. We don't want to turn people off by playing Deuce. People are going to kind of, I think, that singing style, people are going to talk about Deuce in a couple different ways with the way that sounds.
I've just got one question. What was he trying to say?
Simon, you just don't get rap music.
Oh, I see.
For the crew here at Kia Vancouver Soccer Talk, executive producer Christina, contributor Simon Fudge, and the man that we call Greg the Hammer Ballack. My name's Tyler Green. Thank you for listening. You can download the podcast at am650radio.com. Kia Vancouver Soccer Talk returns next Saturday at 10 right here on AM 650 Radio. The music of Barry White is coming up, but the Beatles are next.